Hello everyone and welcome to our CFS look through this Sunday, July 13th, 2025. So on Sundays we often, since last Sunday, but I'm hoping to make it a trend. We'll be going through the CFS runs, the past four CFS runs into December. Today it gets to actually St. Stephen's Day and beyond that, so we'll be seeing, just for fun, what they show for the next 5 or 6 months. Obviously any forecast beyond like 10 days is highly unreliable, so this is just for laughs and a bit of eye candy if we see anything interesting. So here is yesterday's CFS 12 said. So as we know, the heatwave is breaking down with some big storms through today and tonight. As I speak currently, at almost 5 p.m. on Sunday, there are some huge storms in Galway, Mayo and Roscommon, also in West Sligo as well, currently. Some big storms have blossomed in the last 2 hours or so. Going forward into mid-July, it goes warmer and dry for a time in the east and south. It stays westerly then into later part of July. August starts off westerly, and it stays westerly really throughout August. Very unsettled, changeable August here. Go northerly by late August. Is that a hint of autumn descending? Now, if that were in the winter time, that would be perfect for a cold day. We end August though, and a high pressure starts to ridge in. But that's only temporary because September starts on a wet note with low pressure coming in from the west. Be briefly dry and warmer around mid-month there, but it does not last overly long. Goes westerly again into late September with blocking towards Greenland and Iceland. October looks thoroughly wet until mid-month, where there is again a warmer and drier spell, but that does not last overly long. We're back to low pressure towards month's end. Blocking by Halloween, trying to go northwards, but that collapses southwards. But I think that is quite a cold or chilly Halloween anyway. November starts off quite chilly and wet, and it is quite a northerly first part of the month here. Into mid-month, we go more westerly, we go more just westerly and unsettles. Into, November towards December, we do have a cold spell with high pressure ridging towards our north and east, bringing in a cold easterly wind. And then that high goes into retrograde and goes towards Greenland, and down comes a bitterly cold northerly wind. Low pressure by the 7th of December, trying to ridge in. Low pressure on the 7th of December, trying to bump in against the cold air, and that would bring snowfall to the south of the country for a change, if that came off. We stay very cold, locked in cold, up till around, I think that is still cold up till mid-month. Yeah, that is still quite cold. But again, by mid-month, we go into a more general southwesterly pattern there, but a very cold first half of the month there. Coming up now to Christmas time. Christmas Day is looking cold with northerly winds. Upper temperatures look chilly. Now that is an interesting CFS run for December. I feel like recently, between last Sunday and today, quite a few of the runs have gone for quite a cold spell in December. Obviously it's miles away, it's 5 months away, so probably won't happen in that fashion. Into the CFS 18Z from last night. The heat wave does break down towards low pressure, but that is short-lived with high pressure trying to ridge back in for a time. Then we end July on a westerly pattern, possibly northerly. Go to early August, we stay westerly and changeable, briefly dry in the south for a time. Mid-August looks very unsettled and quite chilly with blocking and low pressure. Into late August, it just goes more westerly. September starts off westerly, but goes into a drier and warmer phase there through the first week of the month. That breaks down by mid-month to more westerly winds. High pressure does come back though for a time, and we end September on a warmish note, but possibly quite showery in the south. October starts off quite dry and mild. It stays that way for quite a while here. October looks very mild and dry up till around the 20th, where it does go more wet and windy. Briefly colder for Halloween again. Early season cold spell. Halloween is cold on both of the CFSs so far today. Beyond that, it looks quite nondescript for early November. Very westerly, very stormy. Big area of very intense high pressure though up towards Western Russia. Very cold blast going into Eastern Europe there by Sunday the 16th of November. But that does not come here. We are on the wrong side of the high pressure system and therefore stay quite southerly. Beyond that, looks quite chilly and wet there for the last week of November. And we end November looking quite mild and wet. We start December with a high pressure forming towards Scandinavia. Attempts at an easterly wind here. So that goes quite cold for a time. Then we see a low pressure cutting through that high, and we go more westerly. What happens here? Briefly colder around the 21st, but that's only transient. We are on the cusp of a cold blast on Christmas Eve, but I think that does not really. It does come into Ireland, but the coldest of the areas to the east. And Christmas. Was that? That is a malfunction there. I don't know why. Let's go back to yesterday's run. Whatever. Into the CFS midnight run, we can see that the warm spell is now breaking down. Warmer and drier, possibly for a time later in the week. Then goes westerly beyond that, but actually westerly and quite dry and warm, with the Azores high ridging in again through the end of July. So it goes back to dry and warm weather. August breaks the high down, at least initially. It does try to ridge back in, but it fails. We go into August itself. Mid-month looks thoroughly wet with a low dropping in from the north. That's quite unusual. Beyond that, it just stays quite westerly. September starts off westerly. What else happens? Quite messy for a time, but quite showery. A bit warmer for a time around mid-month. A lot of these runs going for a bit of warmer spells around. A lot of these runs are going for a warmer spell towards mid-month in September, so we'll see about that. Into end of September, going more showery again. October starts off dry and mild. Northerly winds briefly bring a cooler spell around the 3rd of the month. Interesting. Beyond that, it goes more westerly, milder by 24th. Halloween looks cool and showery. Then it looks quite cold and unsettled into early November. Goes milder by the 6th of the month, and but actually it goes colder quite quickly. This isn't a classic cold spell, but because the jet stream is to our south, and the wind is coming in generally from a northerly direction, it'll be quite chilly at least, and it settles. Probably cold then by the 17th of November, with the high pressure towards Iceland, bringing in that cold winds. Easterly winds by the 21st of November, so quite a cold November here. And then by late November, we go even colder, with locked in -10 ice storm by 28th of the month. Very cold for late autumn. December starts off cold, but it does go milder, and brief cold snap there around the 9th. Coming towards mid-month, it's mild, and Christmas looks mild and dry before possibly towards the new year. The highs going towards Greenland and big PV up towards Scandinavia, big northerly just waiting to plunge in. Upper temperatures, maybe can take a tumble. So, CFS 12Z and 18Z go for a cold December, cold November on midnight run. They all have something interesting in there. wait, I mean, like, obviously it's 5 months away, and I feel like all these long range charts often like just throw in something that will make us gasp and gape into the longer range in the winter time. Imagine in the winter it stays westerly and there's nothing exciting happening. That's probably what happened in the end. It's just so funny to see how it happens so easily on these long range charts. You just see a cold month in there. That never happens nowadays. Here's the CFS 6 run for this morning, and that's the last one. So again, we got that low tonight and tomorrow. Then briefly dry and warmer, and beyond that, it's westerly into late July, possibly northerly for a time. August starts off westerly, it stays westerly really throughout August, so not a great August there from CFS run until around 20th of the month. Briefly warmer and drier, but that does not last long. September starts off drier and warmer as usual. September often starts off drier and warmer. It breaks down around the 10th though, with westerly winds coming back in. Autumn descends really, before brief ridges from the Azores try to come in, but they are quite quickly flattened off. October looks quite cold for a time, bit milder there by mid-month. We keep going in towards late month, and it's quite westerly, a bit dry in the south though. Halloween looks mild and quite damp, I think, wet in the northwest. It starts off mild and dry in November. That doesn't last long, it's colder for a time. And once again, blocking towards Greenland, and I think we're in about, by the 10th of the month, we're in the battlegrounds. Yes, so that brings snow towards northern areas. The mild air does a wind though, so by mid-month we're mild and it settles. Bit drier though towards the 20th, and probably quite frosty and cold with southeasterly winds. We go into the end of the month, it goes colder. Oh, there we go, easterly winds by the 29th of November. We go into easterly winds, doesn't last long. December starts off a bit milder and wetter. And, well, easterlies again by the 16th of the month. Christmas looking mild. And beyond that, just mild, westerly. All these runs have quite a potent cold snap in there, somewhere in either November or December, so that's all I'm going to say. I'll say nothing more than that. This is not a forecast, it's just for fun, for eye candy purposes. It's Sunday, we got free time, just fantasize about snow. That's what we do. And to contrast this heat. Anyway, fantastic watching. I think we might do Storm Watch later on. If the thundery band coming in later on is active enough. There are some big storms currently in Connacht. So if you're in Connacht, stay safe. If you're elsewhere, enjoy the warmth for a few hours more before it goes away. And I'll see you soon.